broader market sentiment is starting to accumulate once again. Tomorrow we have the PPI release of data. That's going to be November 15th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time and 11:30 a.m. Pacific. Also, we have the presidential formal announcement tomorrow as well for President Trump. We are expecting, or we are wanting him to announce a bid for Speaker of the House, which would essentially make the markets run. Now, what's going to happen to our favorite stock, though? What are we going to do about these moves? Well, we can try to find out in this video here. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a Mullen, raw price action, technicals, and statistical thread of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community, ARCab, on Discord, which you can see right over here. Now, I did mention at 1:57 a.m. I'm Pacific time, you guys. So I mentioned here, for everyone to watch your longs. The futures market is looking a bit red. Make sure your stop losses are in just in case of a flash broader market sell-off. This was something that I mentioned early in the morning before we faced some pressures on the broader market today. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this chart right over here. This is Mullen in the 1 hour chart, but as you all have known, I've actually paired a couple tickers together so that we can see some broader market activity, all of it together in one chart so we can see how it's moving, right? Okay, so we have BTC on the dark orange, Tesla on the yellow, Mullen blue, and SPY on the teal color. If we can just align our cursor right at this point right here, you can see that the cursor aligns perfectly along all four tickers. And we faced a sell-off in which everything under the sun was affected. PPI data and the presidential announcement is a big catalyst for tomorrow, which shows the fear in the markets. And this is essentially a mirror image of what's happening within the broader market space. One more thing that's starting to show up is the FOMC minutes, and the FOMC minutes is going to be on the 23rd. I'm going to go ahead and double check that for you guys so that we have that in our calendars. So yeah, FOMC minutes is going to happen on Wednesday, November 23rd. So that's another thing that's going to be moving the markets pretty substantially, and that's going to be the projection as to how they're going to move according to the better CPI report that we just got a few days ago. So let's go ahead and dive into the next chart and see what we're doing within the statistical side of Mullen. So this is the ascending channel that we've been writing for quite some time now. We've been actually looking at this since about this position right here. And as you can see, we haven't actually started that official ascent that we've been looking at. But I do have a chart for you guys to be able to see. And just as an example, as to how price movement can go, let's go ahead and refer to ticker symbol NEO. This is a very similar ascending channel pattern, ABCD strategy that I've been following as well. If you can take a look at this, look at the price action coming from X to A. It's just a massive rocky road down to the A channel. So if you were shorting this, if you were doing long puts, you would be in a roller coaster of emotions, down to this point. So as you can see, the pattern isn't exactly perfect. There are times to where we're going to experience variances and price action to the upside, and it's going against us, and it's all based on broader market movement. So we do have to practice patience, and we have to be smart within these particular strategies, especially in swing trades, and also for the fact that we have major economic catalysts in line with all this, you guys. So now let's just take a look at the price action right over here. Raw price action first, right? So we are testing once again that not 618. The one spot 618. This is a very strong support. We've called the support for quite some time now, and we said that we're likely to continue our ascent, and we're continuing to test this support bottom. The pressures of the broader market are certainly pushing Mullen down, but Mullen is still wanting to fulfill its price objective of which would be the C take profit of the top of the channel. Let's go ahead and move on to the next chart and see what we have. Actually, it's within this chart. This is going to be the statistical side of things, you guys. So, new listeners, new viewers, we are looking at volatility here, represented by BBWP. Volatility is direction neutral, and we have to pair it with an indicator similar to this one here. This is a stochastic momentum, or a momentum oscillator of sorts. This can help us gauge that bias and direction, since volatility is entirely neutral. If you hear my voice a little different, a little weird, you guys, it's just I'm not feeling so well. I am actually under the weather, and I'm trying to battle through it right now, you guys. And having an active toddler actually just drains your energy even further. So bear with me. We'll go ahead and get through this analysis as best as I possibly could. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so as you can see here, our momentum oscillator is starting to pivot towards the downside. The criteria for us to apply a large move to the upside based on a backtest of a volatility versus momentum profile, which was a move of 172.12%, historical backtest actually throughout the entire trading history of Mullen stock. We were able to flash that move right as soon as we had the spectrum line, which is the volatility component of BBWP, alongside the moving average, both pivoted towards the downside and beyond the critical expansion volatility zone, which I consider to be anything above the 90 percentile, which is this blue line that my cursor is hovering above. Okay, so we also mentioned that we needed the stochastic momentum pitched to the upside as well. We got both of those signals. Now, the broader markets have essentially held us back from trying to make that thrust to the upside. The good thing is that we are maintaining our support from the ascending channel bottom, which is very good. And if you guys are following the stochastic momentum oscillator on the 12-hour chart and you're noticing this type of pullback, I would have to not put too much weight onto that. And the reason why I can say this is because of moves similar to this right here. You can see that we do have oscillation happening, which is it's in direct accordance with the name of the oscillator. It's called a momentum oscillator. So we do have oscillations of movement and time. So this is very likely happening at this moment right now. Now, I can't guarantee that. I don't know the future, but we do have data in order for us to be able to evaluate targets to the upside or the downside. And based on the iterations that we actually measured, which for the new viewers is this: anytime we have reached above the 90 percentile, which I consider to be critical expansion or critical volatility, and started a contraction phase from those levels, I've taken note of that iteration. And the criteria is the duration of the iteration, the upside thrust based on that iteration, and also the incorrect versus correct iterations based on a volatility versus momentum profile. That got us these metrics here. We have an averaged upside accuracy of 57.14, since we do have a total of 29 iterations and 12 were proved correct to the upside. Now, the average upside thrust is, as we spoke about, 172.12%, with an average duration. This is over the span of just over 14 days. So we haven't fulfilled that 14 days since the firing of the signal. In fact, it's only been just a few days. We do have to keep that in mind. Okay, so let's move on now to the next chart and see if we can get a bias in direction for the coming session or the coming sessions. It's going to be very difficult for us to be able to gain that bias in direction, since tomorrow's catalysts are very profound, to say the very least. So let's start with the immediate short-term time frame and see what we have here. This is the 30-minute immediate short-term RSI. And I do have something for you guys so that I don't have to explain this every single time over and over. So let's just get rid of Discord right over here and bring this image right up to this point here so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is my RSI setup. And you can see now this is the entire bullish control zone and this is the entire bearish control zone, right? Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to leave this open for you guys to refer to it as I talk. We mentioned on Friday, on Friday, we mentioned that there is the potential that we can actually find some sideways trading. And that is essentially what we did find. And we are finding support from the moving average, which is this pink line. And the RSI signal line is actually the smoother, the more rugged purple line. We are still within the shallow areas of the bull weakness percentile, which indicates another potential move like this until the catalysts are released or the announcements have been officially made. Now, the bi-hourly RSI, as you can see, is also suggesting that sideways trading. We're right at the middle of the weakness percentile of either the bulls or the bears, of both the bull and the bears. So now let's move on to the 6 hour. 6 hour is also doing that same nonsense that we've been talking about, sideways. We're not going to solidify this until we get these economical catalysts out of the way. Okay, so another thing right here is that we're looking at the 2-day. This is the bi-daily, RSI, and we are suggesting, or this signal line is suggesting, a continuation onto the upside, which is a good signal, since tomorrow would be the solidification of the economical catalyst until the FOMC minutes meeting on the 23rd, of course. So we can see that we still have some upside to go. Things are looking good, more or less, for Mullen stock. The daily RSI is suggesting that sideways trading. This is why I actually just went up straight to the buy daily, because there is that sense of hopium here. We are catching some bullish signals. Okay, so I think this is a pretty good place for me to leave off the video. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me on Discord, on Twitter. I'll make sure to leave the links in the description below for you to consider joining the trading community in Discord called ARCa. But with that said, I wish you a good night, and I will catch you at the Bell Mañana. Adios.